Alright, I'm live
Sure
now?
are.
Okay, I'm live. Alright, this is Brandino, and welcome. Let me back out to the title real quick so I can see specifically what this game is. This game is Nightshade for the PlayStation 2. Not the NES Nightshade, not the Nightshade that's a visual novel that I didn't know was a thing that was until today. So we're gonna be running Hisui 80%. Not gonna be using the main character today. Alright, and we're gonna be starting time in 3, 2, 1, go. So in case you never heard of this game before, this is actually the sequel to the PS2 Shinobi game that came out in 2002. But instead of Hatsuma, we normally play as the character Hibana, but she's a bit slower in this game compared to the character I'm using now, and we want to go fast. And yes, the first mission of this game, we are on top of a stealth bomber flying through Japan for no reason other than entry level. The big mechanic in this game is how your sword functions. So for every kill that you make with your sword gets stronger, and your sword has quite a few levels to it. I believe it's up to 4. Level 1, it glows green. Level 2, it's light pink, and level 3, when you get 5 or more kills, it would be a dark pink. And at that point, most standard enemies are going to go down on 1 hit. Especially on the easy difficulty. And that also applies to boss fights too. This game is designed specifically so that boss fights don't generally last long. And if they do last for a while, that means you kind of messed up somewhere. And yes, what a great way to start this game out with a semi-auto-scroller. Well, it's not really an auto-scroller, but we do have to kill the enemies in this stage as fast as possible. The reason why you're not seeing me kick the missiles back, because it is a lot faster to just tank them to the face rather than kick them back, watch the missiles slowly fly back to the plane, and knock the plane out of the sky. So there's that. And this game also has a pretty cool mechanic where if you kill 4 or more enemies, it goes into a little Tate cutscene, and it kind of just brings the game to a stop and shows off a cool cinematic pose. And as for someone who's been playing this game since last year, casually since this game came out, you would think I would have gotten tired. You would think people get tired of seeing something like that, but no, it never gets old. We also have access to charge attacks that allows us to clear out waves of enemies at a time and allows us to do tons of damage to boss fights. And we also have access to trusty ninja magic. That one is the Fire Scroll. We're going to be using that a lot during boss fights. The other one is going to be the Lightning Scroll, which you will see later on. And here comes our first boss fight, who we also fight 2 more times. Once on stage 7 and for the final boss. And as you can tell, what boss? Yeah, it doesn't really matter what difficulty you play on, bosses kind of just melts in this game. You know, by design. And here we are, stage 2, aka the first actual stage in the game. This stage and stage 10 is kind of interesting in that we can't actually progress until we take out all the enemies in the area. But there is a way that we can move around and under these enemy triggers, and that we skip these fights entirely. Normally, if I was playing on normal or hard mode, it would be worth it, but on easy, these enemies go down so fast that it's really not worth it. Like this wave, I could actually skip, but it would not save me any time, since I would have to set it up a little bit. I am going to take advantage of this, though, in the later half of this stage, and a lot more on stage 10, so that's going to be exciting. And I'm going to apologize in advance, but there are going to be quite a few times where it's going to be serious time, quote unquote. Because this game doesn't really leave a lot for commentary. It's just... I believe this is one of those games where just action speaks louder than words. The actions kind of just speaks for itself. But I will try my best to keep up with the action. And that's the first instance of our little trigger skip. Normally we would have to fight 3 waves of enemies here, but since I moved under the trigger, we just skip them. And I'm going to do that again couple more times on this section right here. There we go, that's one. We normally fight 2 waves of enemies there, but now we're not going to fight any. We're going to skip this wave entirely. We're going to move around, we're going to jump around this barrier. I don't mess it up, I usually don't. Bam, got it from first go. And now we're at the boss. This boss is another case of boss blood boss syndrome. We're gonna wait till he does his first attack. We're gonna use a fire scroll. We're gonna wait for his weak point, for him to expose his weak point. Use another fire scroll, and the boss is dead. Normally, the game would intend us to wait until it spawns enemies, and then we one-shot it with a tate, but we ain't got time for that. We gotta go fast. A minute 38? Not bad, not bad. My PB for that stage is a minute 33. So I'm only 7-8 seconds behind my personal best right now. So we still ain't there. Now this stage, contrary to the previous stage, is way linear and inside a closed space. This stage is more reminiscent of a Shinobi type stage, where the stage is more of a tight linear corridor rather than a open-ended stage. Yeah, this game kind of flew under the radar, even when this game was new. Compared to Shinobi, it really wasn't received that well. Not to say that it was a bad game by any means, it's just, you know, with games like Devil May Cry coming out, Ninja Gaiden coming out a year after this, those two games kind of buried this game. So it's not really a shocker when people say they've never heard of it before. And it doesn't help that this game isn't really widely ran or anything. Actually, as far as the West is concerned, I'm the only runner for this game. Although, back when this game was new, back in 2003, 2004, this game actually had a very active Chinese and Japanese IO community. IOs and score attack. But nowadays, they're a bit more dormant. Now, the big reason why I run this character over other characters in this game is, well, for one, she's obviously the cutest with her nice-ass umbrella. And the second, I guess more important reason, she actually has the fastest wall movement in the game. She runs faster than Hatsuma, Hibana, and Joe combined. Well, not combined, but faster than all three of those other characters. And we do take advantage of that anytime when we go wall run. Yep, it's all about that ass, though. All about that ass. Now, one neat mechanic that this game does have, compared to Shinobi, is that you gain access to an air kick. And hitting an enemy with the air kick will reset all your air options, so you'll gain your double jump back and your air dash back, along with your kick back. And that allows us to stay in the air for extended periods of time. And that was a bit sloppy, but we'll do with that. And this is the second Ninja Magic I was explaining earlier. This is the lightning scroll, although with her it appears as a little water bubble. What that scroll does is it makes us invincible to all attacks. That also includes stage hazards, but the most important thing is that it allows us to stealth dash infinitely and faster, which is the main source of movement in this game. There is another one called I think it's called Fuga? It's either Fuga or Kuga. I forget the Japanese title, but basically it's a sonic boom, and it's completely worthless, and for the sake of the speedrun, we don't use it. At least with this specific character. If I was playing as Hatsuma, I would use it, but for Hisui, no thanks.
Stop
And there goes a little attack I failed to explain earlier because that was the first instance where I actually needed to use it. But that was a shuriken burst. If you double jump and press the shuriken button, you expend 8 shurikens, but instead you'll freeze all the enemies in that specific area. And it's really useful for taking out seals and just for clearing enemies. And here we have here we're gonna have another boss. What boss syndrome? This boss does have a little bit of RNG though. He has 3 specific spots where he can stop that, and it looks like I'm going to get the absolute worst spawn, the later spawn. But that's okay. I'm not gonna waste too much time. Like, even if I was going for world record attempts, I want to reset over that. Uh, 339. That's actually not a good. That's actually not a good time. I usually get a 320, 325. Okay, so this stage introduces seals to us. So unless we break all the seals in this specific area, we're not allowed to progress through the stage. But I am going to try and clip through this wall. There we go. Got a second try. Solid. We in there. We're gonna move around all these areas and just skip straight to the end of the first section. We're gonna hit that seal, break those 2. Solid. We're already at the end of the stage. Well, not stage, but section. Unfortunately, that is the only clip in the entire game. Actually, I guess that would be fortunate for me because I honestly do not like clipping through walls. Mainly because I suck at it, but that's aside from the point. Okay, we're just gonna ignore those waves of enemies. Move on to the trigger, and we're done with this section. Now, despite me making this stage look pretty free, until I beat the boss, none of this really means anything, because this boss is a huge RNG jerkwad, and he can definitely make all this go to waste. He's one of the few bosses in the entire game that just has random amounts of invincibility whenever he moves, and that really hurts us whenever we're going for like a charge attack or a fire nympho. But hopefully he doesn't give me that much trouble. He usually does, though. If I'm going for PB attempts, my runs usually die to this stage. That's how bad he is. But hopefully that's not the case. Okay, so far so good. That was actually really nice. That's usually about as well as it goes. Let's look at the final time for the stage. Nice. 2.8 sub 220, that's really nice. Usually I get around a 230, and at that point I just reset because there's no way I could make up that time. At least with current strats anyway. This stage we don't have to worry about any platforming or just stage progression. All we gotta do is just kill all the enemies as fast as possible. I guess since there's not really a whole lot going on in this stage, I could kind of talk about the plot to this game. It's a very simple one. So in the previous game, the sword Akujiki, the sword that Hatsuma uses in Shinobi, that sword was shattered into 8 separate pieces. And in this game, a company named Nakatomi, I believe, is trying to gather all 8 pieces and resurrect that sword. So it's our job to stop it. And that's pretty much it. I wish I could speak more on it, but the plot to this game is very simple. And for the sake of this, speedrun, whenever we use not the main character, the game automatically skips all the cutscenes. So unfortunately, I can't really show any of them off. Also, if you have any questions about this game, please do not be afraid to answer. I can answer them to the best of my ability, and it would give me something to talk about during this stage, because there's really nothing going on in this stage at all. Are there any neat glitches? To be honest, outside of the wall clip that I did on stage 4, and moving under and around the triggers to avoid spawn fights, not really. This game doesn't really have a lot of glitches like that. Jump up this canister, then wait for him to attack. I thought he was gonna be dead. That usually one-shots him, but oh well. We'll go for the 2 cycle. Yo, Jay, sub 35 in a marathon? Hey, you know what? I'm actually on that pace, so we might be in there. As long as I don't die, I think sub 35 is possible. By the way, my PB/world record for this game is a 34:31 endgame time. RTA, I would actually have to retime my run, because we usually don't use RTA for PS2 Shinobi and Nightshade. And I think that goes back to the SDA days. Back when this game was actually active on that board. Why is the estimate 110? Because during these auto-scroller sections, if I die, there are no checkpoints. So I had to redo them all over again. Like I said in the Discord, the 110 estimate was a very, very generous estimate. So if everything goes well, we're going to be well beyond the estimate, probably by 10 minutes. And thank you for the good luck. Hopefully I won't need it though. I mean, I could have put the estimate for like 50 minutes, but then I would be cutting it really close. And yeah, you're right. You're right, Babby's first marathon. Gotta make it a very generous estimate. No shame in that. Oh snap, that's the boy, Shin Kenso. Bruh, shouldn't you be commentating Street Fighter 5 right now? What are you doing in here? Alright, we're done with the second auto-scroller of the game, and now here comes another quote-unquote boss. He's gonna jump on the fire truck. I'm gonna use 2 fire scrolls. 1. Charge attack. Another. Charge attack. Didn't even get a chance to play the game. Here we go with another, I guess you'd call it the break the target sections. Just gotta break all these seals. We're not gonna go into any of these rooms, so we don't have to trigger any of these fights. Instead, we're gonna break the seals from the outside by breaking them with our kunai. There we go. Yes, I'm says that's what happens when you move so fast. You leave a water clone of yourself, and you just turn into a blur. Also, to be fair, Dante does the exact same thing in Devil May Cry 3 and 4, so... Let's just say that this game did it first. And yeah, for its time, this was actually a pretty good design choice. Let's play it safe. There we go. Well, yeah, maybe not your DMC3 runs, but DMC4? Oh yeah, you're using Trickster. Alright, this is the last little section of this stage, and we're going straight to the boss. Actually messed up the quick kill a little bit, but I was able to salvage it. Normally after the second charge attack, that does the second chunk of his health, and the last fire scroll would just take him out. Oh boy, stage 8. Stage 8 is literally stage 7, but in reverse. The stage is about ready to blow up, and we gotta get up out of here. I'm actually gonna try to take this section a little bit slow, because the last thing I want to do is fall all the way off just like that. Because remember, we are over a bottomless pit, so if we fall off, we're more than likely gonna die. And I haven't hit the checkpoint yet, so we die, we start this entire climb all the way over. And I don't want to do this section again, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see this section again. Okay, we're in the clear. Well, so far I haven't had any dramatic chokings yet, but we're still really early in the run as far as I'm concerned, so that could change any second. That could start changing once I get to stage 10. Thank you for the luck, Sativa. Hopefully I won't need it, but I appreciate the good luck nonetheless. Alright, we just gotta make this one little stretch, and we're out of here. So the first boss that we have to fight at the very beginning of the game, we're fighting his second form now, Kurohagane Beta. He's gonna sit there, he's gonna rocket fist us, and he's gonna shoot a big laser. Hopefully after these two attacks he's gonna start spawning enemies. There we go. Gonna kill all these enemies. And that's that. That's how the game intends you to take out these fights, but take out the boss fights, but for a good chunk of them, we don't bother with that. Hatsuma could take him out way faster with 2 charge attacks, I believe. But for Hisui and Abana, they have to do it as intended. And here comes the third and final force combat section, and probably the worst, because this one I have to kick back missiles towards boats. And doing that will give me chopper meter, which allows me to do the charge attacks I've been doing throughout the run. I need a full bar in order for me to one-cycle the boss. And I would really like it if I get this first go, because I do not want to play this stage more than once. Alright, that's one missile. I gotta kick at least one more to be in the safe zone. If I kick all three, that will be optimal, but I can settle for 2. Okay, that's 2. We're in the safe zone. So even if I miss the last missile, I can make up the chopper loss in the final wave before the boss. Now, the one thing I am deathly afraid of, as far as this game goes, are the flying enemies that likes to shoot. Because their shooting patterns are really random. So there's a lot of times I've had runs end because I dash towards them and I get shot out of the sky. And when you do that, you lose all your air options. So there's no way to make a recovery from that. Okay, if you got all 3 missiles, we end there. We're gonna activate the lightning scroll so we can do this super fast. That was close. I almost died there. Alright, we killed 30 enemies and now we just wait for the boss fight. Now this fight has some RNG to it. At the start of the fight, he could teleport to either 2 pillars, to the left or to the right. He teleported to the right, so I got the good pattern. Gonna wait for him to spawn these other pillars, gonna take out all these enemies, and hopefully get a one-shot. It's no use sounding like Silver the Hedgehog from Sonic 2006, but it doesn't matter because he's dead. Normally, after each hit, he would teleport all throughout the stage, and depending on where he teleports, the pillars would spawn at different locations, but since we one-shot him, we didn't have to worry about that. Now, remember back at stage 2, I was talking about moving over and under enemy triggers to keep enemies from spawning? We are going to abuse that fact. We're going to abuse that glitch heavily for this stage. And this is usually where the choking commences. This is where the resets come in. And this is another stage where my runs usually tend to die. Yep, like right there. There goes one. Alright, second try. That's nice. We're only going to lose... If I get all these other skips right, we're only going to lose about 4 or 5 seconds. Alright, skip number 2, we got it. Normally, on our way up to this bridge, we have to fight all these mobs of enemies, but since we moved around the triggers, we don't fight any of them. And for this section, this game intends us to not only destroy all these mirrors floating, but it also intends us to deal with the enemies flying throughout the stage, but we ain't got time for that. We just move past the gates, and there we go. Yep, Mobley, that's exactly what I'm doing. If you move under them, if you move under a specific trigger, the enemies will not spawn. And we're abusing that fact. And now we're straight to the boss. And this boss is the worst case of RNG throughout this entire game. I need her to either do a specific attack where she jumps up to the screen and make it rain, or I need her to backflip. And she's not doing either of them. Okay, that's good. Okay, this is the absolute worst pattern. We didn't want it to flood this stage. I messed up the kill for this boss, but it doesn't matter. Oh god. Oh god. I want to kick the boss, not kick these enemies. Alright, this is my one choking moment right there, this boss fight. Okay, whatever. I'll play by the game's rules and do this fight as intended. Oh well, and this run was going so well too, but that boss fight pretty much killed the pace. But that's fine. I haven't died yet, and that's what's most important. And yes, if you're wondering if I killed myself, yes, I did just kill myself. This character is a boss that you do fight. Unfortunately, they toned her down quite a bit from what she is and how you normally fight her, as you can see.
No use. Get out of my sight.
Going to use the lightning scroll again to dash past these waterfalls. Normally, if you don't have the lightning scroll, the waterfalls can actually hurt you and force you to fall off the wall. So instead, you would have to move around it. But with the lightning scroll, we don't worry about that. And there goes the one death. Down. Alright, let's run that back. There we go.
There's no use in resisting. Do not get in my way.
Whoops.
I must become strong.
Alright, took that climb a bit slow, but that's okay. Got this last little stretch of level, and we're almost done with the game. Very close. Alright, I've been usually good about making this jump, so hopefully I get it this time. And of course I missed it, and that's death number 2. I'm not gonna go for it again. Instead of just, I'll play it safe. And there goes the dream of sub 35 in a marathon. But that's okay, because I'll still be underestimate. Alright, and we're at the boss. This boss has two specific phases. This first phase, we can't actually hurt him just yet. We have to hit his head 3 times. And the game intends for us to move through that little obstacle, but instead, we're just gonna stand right next to him and dodge all of that completely. The second part of this fight is we have to get rid of these 2 hands, and this boss going quickly by using the last of our fire magic. He's gonna pop back up, rinse and repeat 2 more cycles. There is no faster way to make this fight go any faster. This fight is guaranteed to take 2 minutes. Longer if you somehow mess up the quick kill. Alright, and we just activated the second phase of the fight, where we can actually hurt him now. But we still have to wait for his little obstacle course, so we're just going to keep walking in front of him. There's his dead zone. Wait for him to pull his arms out of the sand. Kill these enemies. 2, 3, 4, 5. Charge attack. Charge attack. And that's the second to last boss. 1 more stage, and we're going to be coming up on time. This boss is way more forgiving than the final boss in Shinobi. There's very little RNG involved in this boss fight. Actually, we could stun lock him, like what we're gonna do right now. Well, not stun lock him, but we're gonna lock his cycle. Normally, he does a bunch of random attacks, but we're just gonna keep him using his sword attack. So we build enough meter and go to the second phase of the fight. We're gonna force him to attack a couple times. That's 2. He should start summoning clones. There's the clones, and time's going to be coming up on the final hit of this boss. And time.
Alright, that's a 50.06.
50.06? Nice. That's well below the estimate. I'm sorry that I gave such a generous estimate, but that estimate was absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want another run to go like 35 minutes over estimate. So,
alright. Do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to say before you show up?
Play this game. This game is a blast. I hope you enjoyed the run, and I hope you enjoy the next one. I'm gonna get something to eat.